Did DoorDash finally go too far? Is this the update that's finally going to do it in for drivers? Stick around, you're not going to want to miss this one. I try not to be clickbaity or to give drivers a false sense of hope. I always keep it 100 and I give my honest to God opinions. And this new update is a terrible thing. In fact, I'm of the opinion that it has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. What you're going to hear in this video are my own personal opinions, as I'm sure several other content creators will give their thoughts. You should certainly formulate your own opinions as well. Let's dive in. If you're in a market with the driver tier system, you could be in for a very rude awakening. And by rude awakening, I mean another massive squeeze to your stats and therefore your income. In select markets, DoorDash is altering the driver tier system and requiring drivers to have even higher acceptance and completion rates, but in return, they're giving us even fewer rewards. Before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to Kevin and Fadi for sending this my way. If you see something different in your market, send me an email and I might just make a video about it. Full disclosure, what we're going to be talking about today pisses me right off, so it's going to be one of those videos. We all know that DoorDash has a very long history of trying to squeeze drivers for higher acceptance rates while continuously lowering our pay. But this time, I feel like they've taken it too damn far. Acceptance rate requirements are not legal, and when I say that, I mean that they can't deactivate you for not accepting orders, because we're not their employees. But, in my opinion, DoorDash is tiptoeing right up to the line of legality and spitting in our faces from across that line. Now, DoorDash could argue that there isn't an acceptance rate requirement to use the app, which is partially true. But what's also true is they're making it damn near impossible for drivers with low acceptance rates to get any hours and therefore make any money on the platform. When the driver tier system first started rolling out, I didn't really view it as a big deal or even really a big change. It was basically consolidating all of their goofy existing programs into a fancy user interface. But that was then. But now, they seem to be on a warpath, making it substantially more difficult for drivers with low acceptance rates to get any hours. In recent months, they've started releasing available hours in 30-minute to 1-hour blocks, and don't get me wrong, when I'm actually able to get hours, I still get reasonable orders on DoorDash. But getting hours has been very challenging recently. Before we go any further into that, let's talk about what's changing. Essentially, DoorDash has increased the acceptance rate requirement for all 3 tiers by 10%. For Silver tier, or the freaking Diamond program, DoorDash now requires a 60% acceptance rate versus the previous 50%. Both Gold and Platinum now require an 80% acceptance rate versus the previous 70%. I'd like you to do me a favor. Pause the video and let me know in the comments if 8 out of 10 orders are profitable in your market. They damn sure aren't in mine. It's worth noting, DoorDash is also increasing the completion rate requirements for these programs, but it's not ultimately what I want to focus on in this video. Other than that, the only other change is with Gold, you now have Dash Now. Maybe, but at the cost of an 80% acceptance rate. Honestly, at that point, are you just doing charity work for the privilege of doing more charity work? All right. It's not all bad. It isn't all bad. With Platinum, you now get a discount on DoorDash. What that discount is anybody's guess, as they didn't release the number. But personally, I don't want to deliver 8 orders to pay for a single DoorDash meal and give all of the money right back to them. But let's be honest. The only reason somebody should have an 80% acceptance rate is for the ability to Dash Now. Either that or they wrongfully assume that they're an employee, or they don't mind losing money. Under the old system, with a 70% acceptance rate, you could Dash Now. Full stop. Now, just like Gold, you get priority access to Dash Now. Like, what the fuck is that? Priority to Dash Now? There's too many words in that sentence. It should just be Dash Now. Now, this is DoorDashese. They're notorious for writing something so carefully that we read it one way, but it actually means something completely different. I think it would be a fair assumption for drivers to read that and assume that they have Dash Now. But let's take a look and see what their website has to say about it. Priority access to Dash Now. Dashers with this reward will have priority access when Dash Now is available. In some areas, Dashers may be able to Dash Now regardless of whether or not it's busy. Just so there's no confusion, I want to translate this from DoorDashese to fucking English. Drivers under the old system who achieve a 70% acceptance rate have Dash Now anytime, full stop. However, drivers under the updated system may or may not have Dash Now, depending on DoorDash's mood that day. Okay, maybe not based on their mood, but more likely how busy it is, and that's just my interpretation. If you got something different out of it, definitely let me know in the comments section. Also, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. My acceptance rate is always below 10%, and I can also Dash Now when Dash Now is available, just like the Platinum and Gold drivers. Do they think we're stupid? I think that this is going to send a lot of drivers packing. Dash Now was the one feature that they held above our heads to get orders delivered. So let me ask you this. What is our motivation to do it now? Some of you may argue that the motivation is the large order program and access to it, and depending on your market, could be a fair argument. But what do you think is going to happen when potentially hundreds of new drivers flood that program in your market? Do you think that you're actually going to have any verifiable priority? Let's be honest. The number of catering orders aren't about to increase because DoorDash just flooded the program with a bunch of new drivers. It's just more competition for the drivers who are already there. I think that this is a money grab on DoorDash's part. In order to be accepted into the LOP, you have to submit proof of a catering bag, which, sure, you could buy on Amazon, but they advertise their store and their catering bags so heavily, it's strongly encouraged for drivers to get them directly from DoorDash. Let's do a quick recap of where we're at. You now have a ton of new drivers in a large order program, the exact same number of catering orders as before, and DoorDash harassing us to spend money in their store. So, who wins? I want to jump back to priority for a moment. Am I the only one that finds it strange that all three programs promise drivers some form of priority? Silver will offer you priority to high-paying orders, while Gold offers you higher priority to higher-paying orders. Meanwhile, Platinum offers you highest priority to high-paying orders. I do not like unverifiable claims, and that's exactly what these are. How often do you have 50 drivers in the same room? Half with an 80% acceptance rate and half with a 10% acceptance rate. DoorDash is well aware that it would be damn near impossible to verify the validity of their claims. That's why we see DoorDash using phrases like may, might, and when available. They're non-binding and non-committal. Honestly, they may as well just say maybe or if we feel like it. Now, I keep a low acceptance rate, and I'm going to go somewhere with this, I promise, but I want you to think about something. When was the last time DoorDash actually did something truly beneficial for drivers? I'll give you a moment to think about it. They don't do anything that benefits drivers. They do things that benefit them. What's more logical in your mind? Sending an order to a driver like me with a 7% acceptance rate when the restaurant is right across the street, or to dispatch it to a driver who's 2 miles out with an 80% acceptance rate who's going to take 10 minutes to get there? That, right there, is why I make money on DoorDash when I can actually get hours. Now, if you're in a very small market with only a handful of restaurants in a very close proximity to each other, then sure, a driver with a higher acceptance rate might actually get priority. But what you have to ask yourself is sending it to that driver going to increase the order time? In my market, it sure would, but in yours, it may not. At the end of the day, DoorDash's priority is to get orders delivered quickly, not to reward us. Never forget that. I guess my biggest question is, at what point is DoorDash no longer worth it? Did we just hit that threshold? What does losing the ability to Dash Now mean for you and your income? This may come off as harsh, but this happened because drivers allowed it to. I know it's a pipe dream, but what do you think would happen if every driver out there stopped taking bad orders and stopped caring about their acceptance rate? We would actually be paid fairly for the work we're doing, and there would be no acceptance rate requirements. I understand that DoorDash is the primary game in a lot of markets around the country, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be running as many apps as you can. The more apps you run, the less reliant you are on this company, and ultimately, in the long run, that's for the best. After all, if drivers eat this up too and they get away with it, what happens next? Alright guys, I don't do a channel membership, merch, a Patreon, or anything like it. Something as simple as pressing the like button and subscribing to my channel goes a very long way. If you would like to support the channel past that and earn some gift cards in the process, Check out Fetch by clicking the link in the pinned comment or the description. Fetch is a free app where you turn receipts into gift cards. Those gift cards can be redeemed at popular retailers like Amazon, Walmart, Starbucks, and countless others. You can scan gas, grocery, and restaurant receipts, or anything with a store name, a date, and a price. You then rack up points which you can convert into gift cards. If you click my affiliate link in the pinned comment or the description, you'll get a referral bonus on your first scan. Thank you for your continued support of my channel. My name is Zach. Take care.